Well, Ronnie, what a massive weekend it's been. A massive home game for the Chargers, a massive upset for the Chargers, going down after a 20-point lead to Ringwood. I was up early for the old democracy sausage, straight on a plane, straight to the footy. Big weekend for me, but it's great to be back in the Chargers Hoops TV studio.
Absolutely, JB. It's great to be back here. I'm knackered after running around basketball courts for the weekend, but let's get straight into the show. Well, JB, the women's team played on Friday night against Ringwood, and what were your thoughts on the game?
It was a very interesting game, Ronnie, and unfortunately for the Chargers, a bit of a typical start as has been for most of the season so far. Slow going by the girls, and Ringwood jumped out to a massive lead. I believe it was 27-10 at quarter time, and things just started to really roll from there. Got out to that 30-plus point margin for the girls heading into half time. It was really, really tough for them, but credit to the girls. Their last three quarters was a great display of team basketball and a much better performance. I do believe over the last three quarters, the girls actually did win the game. A lot of that came down to making shots, making defensive stops, not turning the ball over as much, minimising second, third point opportunities there for Ringwood. However, they just weren't able to get the job done. Final scores in that one were 87-60, so another big blowout there. But again, unfortunately, those slow starts really hurting. Angie Tompkins, 20 points. Shana Thompson, 18 points, and probably not as much assistance as they needed. But for the girls, it's a great stepping stone in the right direction. Of course, the last half, they won that last half as far as I'm concerned, played a much better brand of basketball, really started executing, and good to see the rotations as well with a lot of the young local girls getting involved. Of course, Paige Bradley debuting as well, showed some great promise off the bench, and she's going to be a massive impact on this squad as well once she gets into the starting lineup and gets her legs under her.
And after the game, we spoke to head coach Dwayne Davey.
Let's check that interview out right now.
Obviously, we were really disappointed again, particularly in the way that we started the game. But to the girls' credit, we could have, at half-time, we could have just packed up and that could have got really ugly. But they knuckled down. I think we had our best quarter for the game in the third quarter defensively. We just didn't have it in the first half. And then obviously, with Paige coming in, we a little bit off balance there at times as well. So, we're still, I think, taking steps forward. Extremely disappointed with the way that we started the game and I guess the result. But again, there's some signs there that when we do the stuff that we talk about and that we want to do, we look like a good team. I guess we're just at the stage right now where we can't sustain that for 4 quarters, whether it's the way that we start or the way that we finish. It's just not quite there yet. So, we've got Paige here now, so we'll get a couple of training sessions into her and try and get everyone on the same page and hopefully start to build from here. And we're really appreciative of, I guess, the support that we're getting, even though we have started the season pretty poorly. So I just want to say all to the fans, thank you, and keep it coming, and we're doing our best to try and turn it around.
Also after the game, we caught up with Chargers new import Paige Bradley.
Fresh off the plane, let's hear what she had to say after the game.
Yeah, I actually landed this morning, so it was land around 12 and then go back to my house, maybe rest a little bit. And then I came here. Legs are a little shaky. I'm a little tired, but I'm excited to get a sleep, many sleeps, and then be ready for next week. I was born in Wichita, Kansas in the U.S., and I grew up in Houston, Texas. And I played at the University of Denver in Colorado, but I'm excited to be here. It's beautiful from what I've seen so far. I think I'll fit in really well, and the girls seem awesome, and they're really into it, and I'm excited to use that passion to have a good season.
And of course, the back end of the double headers, Ronnie, the men's game taking on the Ringwood Hawks. First time Ringwood have been in town ever for an NBL 1C competition. Chargers had the game right in their hands and somehow let it slip. How did you see it?
It was one of the most unbelievable second halves by Ringwood, and as I mentioned on commentary, JB, one of the most Big comebacks in NBL 1 South you will see this season. Ringwood putting up 51 points compared to Hobart's 25 in the second half in total. A lot needs to be asked about Hobart's second half performance in that game. Don't get me wrong, they played a brilliant first half, and you would think that the game was in the bag for them, but Ringwood, never say die attitude, and just came out and played with no pressure, nothing to lose. Hobart looked like they got complacent and looked like they were just a little bit out of sorts in what they were doing. And really, that's a game that Hobart really should have won, and on paper as well too. Hobart had the better players on that team, but Ringwood just found a way and worked their way through that second half and got the win in one of the most extraordinary comebacks we will ever see. And Hobart would absolutely be not happy in those locker rooms after the game about their performance as well too. In the end, Hobart still had a chance to win it, but unfortunately didn't hit those crucial shots down the stretch. 91-87 our final score.
We do mention there that massive comeback. Ronald outscored 2-1 in the second half. Called the Chargers with two massive first quarters. The 29 points in the first quarter, 33 in the second quarter, only managing that 25 points. It's got to frustrate Coach Stewart and got to frustrate a core group that seems like they were really gelling, and now they've dropped two on the trot at home.
Absolutely, that's inexcusable by the Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers, and really now it is they have got to play with a never say die attitude against Bendigo on Friday night.
We caught up with Coach Anthony Stewart after the game, and to say he was frustrated is an understatement.
Let's go to that interview right now.
We've got a really young group. Obviously Harry Froling did a pretty good job in the first half, but AJ struggled from the field tonight, and that's the problem. If one of those two guys is down any half or quarter, there's not much else around. And we've got a really young group that's never played at this level, and it was just that's the way it was tonight. I think Ringwood did a really good job of scouting us and trying to make AJ beat us from the perimeter, and he struggled, and I think that got into his head, and then things just turned from bad to worse. But to try and respond, that's not a top 8 team by any fact. So probably shows where we're at as a club. I think they got a bit of a wake-up call tonight. We need someone to step up. We need one or two guys to be able to score for us, and right now we've just got a bunch of role players and Harry and AJ.
And of course, we also caught up with Geordie Hargrave, one of the young core members of this group, been around the team for a while, and he's playing some good basketball this year, Ronald.
Absolutely, he is, JB. Let's go to that interview right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things down the stretch of a game where we got to execute, and just tonight we didn't do it. Essentially tonight, in my opinion, we're a much better side than who we played against, and they came in with a lot of passion and a lot of fight down the stretch, and we just couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done from starters through off the bench. It was just a tough night. Oh, absolutely. We got practice Monday and then Thursday again, and a lot of sessions in between. It's just going to take time because a lot of the fellas here haven't actually had as much opportunity as they've gotten this year, and it is an adaptation from local league and up. So once everyone feels themselves out, I guarantee that there will be some things improved. Couldn't really get traction and playing consistently and finding a rhythm in the game, but luckily this pre-season leading into now, I've been able to stick some practices and games together and actually find myself again. So, yeah.
Made by nature, created by innovators, supplied by Mackay's, your home of Tasmanian timber.
Well, JB, our next studio guest, it doesn't get any bigger than Harry Froling, the big 6'11". Big man is in the studio with us now. Harry, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Good to finally get in.
How have you adjusted to life in Hobart, Harry? Obviously a big season in the NBL with Illawarra. How did your season go there, and how's the transition into Hobart been?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. Obviously playing in Illawarra with Gorgian and all that sort of stuff, and had a good year there. And obviously we underachieved a bit towards the end and didn't make finals, the playoffs, but it was obviously a fun year, and it's excited to get down here in beautiful Tassie.
I was going to say beautiful Hobart, the second time you've been down here. Harry, how are you finding the first few games here with the Chargers?
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down. Obviously, consistency. We haven't been able to finish out games, and that's been disappointing. But onwards and upwards. Hopefully, we can keep building on it. And when we get a few more guys in, and that'll definitely help out a bit.
You mentioned on building things. Obviously, your first couple of games reasonably quiet. You had a massive back end of the road trip in Melbourne, then a massive game last week. How have you found being able to build those points up and being able to maintain that level of production?
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to come for me. I think first couple of games, I was fresh off, end of NBL season and hadn't really done much for a couple of weeks, and had enjoyed myself a little bit after the season, you could say. So it was good to come get a few practices under my belt and really play and start playing well and show why I can be one of the top players in this league.
And Harry, what are the goals for you going forward, mate? Is Europe, NBA, NBL still on that radar? I know you're a free agent now as well too.
Yeah, I think I'll be back in the NBL this year. Obviously, I'm just working through some things right now with my agent and putting some offers together and working out situation, money, and all that sort of stuff, and just what's the best fit for me next year. So currently going through all that sort of stuff, and obviously I still want to play in the NBA and all that, but right now just focus on the NBL and some national team stuff hopefully in the future and work through that. So other than that, it's just enjoying myself and competing.
Obviously back with the Chargers, just quickly, Harry, you're playing with Ollie Angerstein and AJ Harris. Obviously AJ, a nice small, quick, athletic guard, but playing with someone like an Ollie Angerstein, a big who plays to the basket, powerhouse. What's it like, trying to play that pick and roll and that pick and pop with AJ and then working out where you and Ollie sit on the court at the same time? Yeah,
I mean, I've got a pretty decent IQ, so I'm usually pretty good with that sort of stuff. And Big Ollie, he works hard and he gets block shots, rebounds, and dunks the ball a lot. So he's good to play with, and it's really fun watching him play and just go to work down there. And I like to play off him. And obviously playing for a while now, I've been in the NBL for a while. I've learned to play with those bigger Matt Hodgsons, those big guys that are around the rim and all that. And then I've learned to play with the Vic Laws, those sorts of guys who are a bit more perimeter based, where I got to go inside. So it's not hard to adjust, and the big fella's been good to play with.
Of course, we've seen the progression of those points, Harry, the 13, the 15, the 16, the 24, the 30. You're getting good starts, sometimes tapering off a little bit, starting to train now, expecting some more numbers into this team. That progression's, slowly growing. How are you expecting that to keep going as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously coming down and playing at this level, I think I've shown in the past with my past NBL 1 history, I can score the ball at a pretty elite level, and it's good to have freedom and play under Stewie. So obviously that's a good thing, but I'd like to be getting wins along the way with it, and hopefully we can get together, because it's a pretty short season, the old NBL 1. So we need to definitely string some wins together, and hopefully building off my performances, the team can keep building and getting better, and the young guys can step up.
Well, JB, it's great to have Harry in studio with us. The big fella, my goodness, he's towering over the top of us as well too. Harry, thanks for coming on Chargers Hoops TV.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Whatever part of your home you want to improve, Clennett's Mitre 10 has everything you need to get the job done. A wide selection of indoor and outdoor plants and pots, paint for every style and every project, complete DIY kitchens and bathrooms, and all the tools you need for the job. The local Clennett's team know their huge range inside and out, so you'll get the right advice and the right product every time. Clennett's, mighty helpful Mitre 10.
Back here at Chargers Hoops TV, and again, we couldn't have Chargers Hoops TV without our great sponsors for 2022, McKay Timber, Gap, who had a major announcement during the week, Ronnie.
Oh, absolutely. I was there for that announcement. Let's go to some of the footage right now.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here today to announce a fantastic new partnership between the Hobart Chargers and our GAP program. Our GAP program looks to place greyhounds and lovable, beautiful family pets into new homes once they've retired from racing. So important that we get together on these things. It's a really fantastic sponsorship and partnership that I know will grow in capacity and resonance going forwards.
So folks, we're really excited, as the Minister indicated, to be partnering with the Hobart Chargers. Our GAP facility, located out at Mangalore, currently houses up to 27 greyhounds, and we're getting them all prepared to find loving homes. And we've got plans over the coming 18 months to 2 years to actually double that, build a brand new kennel facility as well. We've met with consistent demand, and as I say, we're increasing our throughput of our GAP programs.
Oh, it's fantastic to be teaming up with GAP. The partnership with the Chargers side is that we're part of the community. We work with a lot of the young people in the community. We have our schools programs. The partnership will also open the door, hopefully, for the greyhounds to a new family marketplace.
And these sorts of partnerships and sponsorships, where we have such great people like the Hobart Chargers saying we're getting on board to rehome greyhounds who have retired from racing, is exactly what we need to be doing. Everybody who wants to get on board with animal welfare, this is a way you can do it. From a family through to a corporation, sponsor the program, get on board and help out.
And of course, Ronnie, your favourite app, the What's On app.
Absolutely, JB. I've got the What's On app right here. I'm going to book my tickets for Friday night for the basketball, but also too, I'm very interested in some of these other events that's happening around Hobart as well too.
Check out the What's On app.
At Wilson Homes, we've been building the Australian dream for over 30 years. And today, this purpose is more important to us than ever before. That's why we're going to keep building the homes that define our way of life. So don't lose sight of your dream, because we're going to keep building for you.
Well, Ronnie, another episode in the books of Chargers Hoops TV here at the studio. It's been another great week.
It's been a fantastic week, JB. A huge week having big Harry Froling in studio with us.
Yep, it's been awesome to have another special guest here, and we look forward to bringing more special guests to you later in the season. That's a wrap for this episode of Chargers Hoops TV.